plan it this way, but I'd like you to hear from another student tonight, and he's also from Michigan. I'd like Zach to share his story with us.
Hi, as Pastor Dave said, I'm from Wesleyan, Michigan. I grew up, my dad being a pastor, my grandpa being a pastor. There's a lot of pastors in my family. Reverend Thompson. Thompson's my last name. It's a very familiar term in Michigan. So being at church was usually a 3-day-a-week thing instead of a 1-day-a-week thing. But it was still, and you've probably heard this, you put on a face. You go to a church, you're a Christian, but then the rest of the week you just kind of live the way you want. I never went down the path so far just as to like, I was drinking, I was doing drugs, I was doing that kind of stuff. But I wasn't a Christian. I wasn't living in a way that God would have wanted me to. And one thing I've been learning, especially this year, I've learned it throughout my whole life, but it took a lot of things that have gone on this year to really hit home, is that God opens doors sometimes we don't want him to open to, and closes doors sometimes that we want to keep open. And one of the first examples of this was in about 7th grade. I was going down a path of all I cared about anymore was books. That's all I ever did was go home and read. I stayed at school, I read, I didn't pay attention in class because I was reading books. And so I was going down a path of, I wasn't really reading good books, you know what I mean? I wasn't reading the Bible. I still, this is a confession, even after a year at Bible college, I've still never read the entire Bible. And because I've read so many other books. And it took a lot for me to realize that that wasn't okay. And the big thing in 7th grade was, and this was a sequence. First, my Aunt Mandy died of cancer. 6 months later, my dad was diagnosed with cancer. And it was just those two things back to back, right away. It closed the door because I didn't have time to read books anymore because I was always with my dad at the hospital for a while. My dad's fine now, just so you know. But it was a door that, I mean, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with reading, I still love to read, but there's a certain amount of where you make books your idol, you know what I mean? And there's only one book you should hold above everything else, and that's the Bible. And so this year, a door was closed. I love being at Bethany Bible College. I have a lot of friends in the Square, I have a lot of friends at the college, and I love a lot of the things that I've learned. But I realized this year that that's not where God wants me. And that's a door closed on my life that when I first realized that, kind of shook my fist at God, what are you doing? Really? Why are you doing this to me? I was so comfortable at Bethany, I was so happy being there, but God closed the door on me and wants me to be somewhere else. And it's something that's taken me a lot to get through, a lot of working, a lot of praying, a lot of being in the Word. Just to realize that God knows what he wants you to do. God knows that tomorrow this door is going to be open for you and this door is going to be closed. There's a verse in Matthew 6:34 that says, "Don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. It has enough worries of its own." And I think that's very true in my life, that I need to just worry about the doors that are opening and closing today. Let tomorrow figure itself out.